Microphone, check. Microphone cable, check. Microphone stand, check.
Chris, what are you doing?
I'm getting all my podcast tools ready to go.
Oh, that makes sense. I like tools.
Yeah.
Chris, check.
What? What is that?
It's my tool. Jack's up, listener.
It's the Riveted with Chris and Gina.
So, listener, Chris and I have a special episode for you today. We're doing something just a little bit different. We're bringing on a really good friend of ours that we met several years ago in Quartzsite, Arizona at the Big Tent Show.
Yeah, he had a awesome display at the show, and it caught our eye. And once we chatted with him and got to know him a little bit, super awesome guy. He's got a really neat product that he brought into the RV space. We introduced him to our community, and we helped do a little beta testing on it as he brought it to market a few years back. So, listener, we hope you get a lot out of this episode. We're excited to have him. His name is Robert McMillan. He's the creator and founder of the Camping.Tools mobile app, and we're glad to host him on the podcast. Robert, welcome to The Riveted with Chris and Gina.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, great to be here, and thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah, we're doing this. This is one of our first recordings so far that I can think of that we've done at nighttime. We're hanging out. I
think you're right.
Chilling in the camper with the nighttime lights, and Robert's a busy man, so I mean we
got to catch him when we can.
Got to catch him when we can.
Yeah, he's like the Tasmanian devil.
But he's always got something going on.
He's zipping around, zip, zip, zip.
But Robert, we're happy to have you, and like we kind of said in the intro there, we've been just fortunate to know you the past couple years, and excited to finally kind of chat on the podcast and learn a little bit more deep information about kind of your past a little bit and what motivated you to create this cool mobile app and just what the future holds in the RV industry for Camping.Tools. So
well, yeah. I mean, I guess that he started it because he enjoys camping, right?
Well, we'll learn. I mean, we think he does.
Like every great story, I was sitting around a campfire one day, actually a bonfire in my backyard. And, I'm reaching that phase in life where I'm like, all right, what's the last third going to look like? And up to that point, had a pretty successful management consulting company. We built enterprise software for administrative systems for, state governments and nonprofit organizations. Pretty boring stuff, but I guess it's important. More importantly, it paid the bills.
Yeah.
But my kids were grown, or one of them was graduating college. The other one was about to get into college. So, it's a pretty pivotal point in a person's life, I think, when the kids get out of the house and you have more time to figure out or just to ask the question, what are you going to do? So I was always struggling with this. People always say, do what you're passionate about, man. Follow your passion. And I always struggle with that because I'm like, well, I'm kind of ADD. I like a lot of different things. And, in terms of work, I could find a lot of things that excited me, but what am I really passionate about? And it dawned on me at that moment. It was like, it's where your brain goes when you don't want to be somewhere else. It's like, and I just remember coming off of a big project, working for a large beverage manufacturer that makes sweet drinks. And it was just a cooker. I mean, the project was a meat grinder. And I know I didn't want to do stuff like that. So I was like, I would much rather be camping any day of the week. And so I'm like, all right, I got to do something with the camping tools. And the name Camping Tools was already known to me because back in 2012, I took a camping trip with my two boys. They were 11 and 6 at the time. And I loaded up my Volkswagen Jetta wagon. We were going to go tent camping, and we were going from Georgia to Glacier National Park. And I
Tent
remember
camping in
having
a
the,
Volkswagen Jetta. That's
yeah, I
wow.
mean, and it was loaded down.
Yeah,
Jetta's not big.
sure.
No, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had to put bigger springs on the back of it, and I put a roof rack on it because we were going to be gone for a while. We were planning for a month. And the first place I stopped, of course, the planning on a 28-day trip and tent camping along the way with two young boys and my mom. My wife had to work. So I took my mom, and
Who's a very
yeah,
special lady.
Yeah, she's a cool lady.
She is really cool. Yes.
yeah.
Got to throw that in
Uh,
there.
just turned 88 this summer.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, on this, the whole trip itself was a big planning process, which was for me a lot of fun. Some people don't think it's so much fun to have to go through that level of detail, especially if you're new to camping. You don't really know where to start or what to do, or what to bring, or how to plan or anything like that. But I've been pretty much a lifelong camper, and so for me, it's just a big, exciting opportunity. So the planning aspect of it, and then the first stop was in Garden of the Gods, Illinois, is Shawnee National Forest, I think, in Illinois, just over the state line coming up from the south. And yeah, I woke up real early because I was super pumped up. Everybody else was sleeping. I had the coffee going on the little, stove, propane stove, watching it boil. And we're sitting up on this ridge, and you can hear the coyotes howling down in the valley. And it's just like one of those moments, and that's, to me, that's camp is just full of these moments. But that was one of them. And I was like, man, I need to be journaling this trip. I need to be capturing all the memories and save the photos, and record my travels so that not only can I reflect on them when I'm older, but my kids can reflect on them, because they're not going to remember. They're 11 and 6. They don't remember what socks they have on. So um, I'm just it was that moment. I was like, I need a tool. And I'm technology, web, I'm all into that. And at this point, Facebook was still fairly new, 2012. And it didn't have the right tools that I wanted in it. And so it was that trip where my wife always wanted updates on where the kids were, make sure I didn't leave them in a ditch somewhere. I'm posting photos on the web or Facebook or whatever I had, and she's freaking out because they're rock climbing with Crocs on, and the communication aspect was always a challenge between me and her. And I had to remember, to update her, let her know when I got somewhere. And then, there's packing list and just with the preparation and planning, and you need all these different things, maps and whatnot. And I scoured the web. I couldn't find any tool or, solution that was readily available. So that's really what birthed the idea. And then around 2000, I think it was 15 or 16, the .tools domain opened up. And, being somewhat of a entrepreneur and opportunist. I went out and I was looking for some other domain names. I wanted College Tools, and I did get that, but I got some others. I got Boating Tools and Camping Tools, and so rolling it forward up to me sitting around the fire in my backyard, figuring out what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. I'm like, I want to be camping, so I got this domain name called Camping Tools. And I've got this idea for an app. I think it's pretty cool. It solved a lot of my problems. I was like, well, maybe somebody else thinks it's a good idea.
Yeah. So like it's the thing that we always say. I mean, we hear you say it, and we say it too when we refer to it is we say camping tools. But just for clarification, it's not like instead of camping.com, it's camping.tools. So
right.
Yeah, that domain, it's not that you got campingtools.com. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about camping.tools, which is very unique, I think.
Yeah, it's a attention getter, especially when you go to these trade shows. I'll come back to my story in a second. When you get to these trade shows and there's always a guy who walks up to you, he's like, all right, Camping Tools.
Yeah.
What you selling? What you got?
Yeah. I need some tent stakes and some sewer line extensions. And...
Oh my.
Yeah.
No, different kind of camping tools.
It's funny to watch them too, because they come up and they're like, well, yeah, I know it. You can see the process in their head. They're not saying anything, but you can see the wheels turning. It's like, all right, yeah, I know what camping is. Yep, I know what tools are. But what are camping tools?
Yeah.
I don't have any of those.
Yeah. You don't have anything in your booth to see, like, what kind of, accessories do you have?
Right.
No, I'm not trying to get you off topic, but because I was enthralled in your story, but I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I will come back to that camping tools concept.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe everybody will get a membership toolbox or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
But yeah. So we prototype. I threw some ideas together, and I've got the people that can build these things, and I designed it, threw together a prototype, and took it up to Hershey, Pennsylvania, to the RV show up there. And I was really surprised. I mean, got like 95%, I'd say 98%, really interested people that said, oh yeah, online journal, that's a great idea, and, explained to them the idea and how it worked. And, we had a somewhat functional website, and, it was enough for people to get the idea. So I'm like, all right, we might have something here. So we just kind of kept working on it and talked to more people, and, heard what they wanted and put these features in, and went to another road show and rolled that forward 2 more road shows. And that was when we met in Quartzsite, Arizona.
Yeah.
I guess a year ago, August, we released the mobile app. You really need that mobile app functionality when you're out on the road. And yeah, we're continuing to grow it, and we've got some great features planned, for the coming year.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, out there in Quartzsite, when we were first walking up to the show, we passed right past your truck and camper, and of course it's wrapped. And we were looking at it and we thought, that's really neat. We haven't seen that here before. So we were looking for you in there, not knowing who you were, but we were looking for you. And it was really cool when we came up onto your booth and then realized that what it was all about. And, Chris and I were very excited to have met you that day. And
yeah, we are. And Gina's, she give her credit on, just looking at your display, speaking to you for a few minutes, and then, we kind of walked on, and then she kind of circled back and said, we need to go talk to him a little more and learn a little bit more about what he's got going on. And that was, I'm glad we did for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, just we haven't talked about this so far in the episode, and I guess it's worth explaining for the listener that this mobile app, Camping.Tools mobile app, is right there in your hand. It's a travel journal. It's a place to capture your trips, your experiences, your pictures, your locations, all of your thoughts about particular experiences that you've had. It's got the ability for you to plan ahead of time, put all your information about what you want to take with you, where you want to go, the things you want to see. You put all of that in there, and then it has the social side to where you can decide who you want to share all those experiences with, and that's dramatically different than social media, because a lot of times social media is out there for everybody. Even though you've got friends you connect with on social media and things like that. Once you put stuff out on the big social networks, and Robert, I'm sure you'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's a different experience than having a private, travel camping journal right in your hand that's just for you to preserve. It's like you can keep it totally to yourself if you want to, or you can decide to share it with your friends or others.
Right. There are people who they may post something out on social media. They only want their family to see it, but they don't have a choice but for everyone to see it. They're not able to keep anything private. And that's what I thoroughly enjoy about using the Camping Tool app, is because we can keep a lot of our stuff private just to our family or immediate friends or something, versus open it up to our whole community.
Yeah. And I'll, share this one thought too, especially after having, met you and known you for almost 2 years, is, you can see when people rush to market with something in any industry, but you can walk any kind of decent sized trade show in the RV industry and you'll see, even if it's some type of app or digital product or even some sort of, gimmicky trinket or something like that they think's the next best camping, accessory. You can tell when somebody's rushed something to market or just are trying to capitalize on a trend or a wave of interest or something like that. And we could tell right away that you didn't do that.
No, he took his time.
That you didn't just switch industries. You didn't pivot. You didn't do anything that you weren't already very knowledgeable in doing. So you took, I've heard you say this before, you took your work and also blended it with your passion and created this cool mobile app. So you were experienced, knowledgeable in the ability to come out with a top quality website and digital product and digital app. And then you are knowledgeable about camping and what the demographic and the industry is all about and what it needs. And you've brought out something that is a great quality product. And when people see it and start using it, they'll see that you didn't rush to market with it, which is cool.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I definitely didn't rush to market with it. Like I said, I probably had about 6 or 7 years of thought into it before I actually did anything.
Yeah.
And also on the design, on the build process, the analogy that I have, of course, I came up in, the MP3 player cohort when Napster and music was available. And, if you came up in that period, there was probably 100 different MP3 players. And then you had Napster, and man, it's like every one of them was different in terms of how you download the music, how you get it to play, how you transfer it from one device to another. And it was just a real struggle. And then all of a sudden, Apple comes out with the iPod. And as soon as I picked up the iPod Remember the one that had a little wheel on it,
Yes, yes.
Um, as soon as you pick that thing up, it just worked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you plug it in and you sign into your Apple account and start downloading and playing music. I was like,
it was amazing.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
unheard of.
yeah.
And so that was my instruction to the team is like, when we do things, it's got to be Apple iPod friendly. It's got to be intuitive, and it's got to be the best app out there. And it's my baby, and we're still not there yet, and we still try and we still iterate, all the time. We push releases out all the time. But that's our goal. That's our target. It's just we just want it to be the easiest app to use and the obvious choice if you want to save your memories and share with friends and stuff. And back on the privacy thing, that was really by design from my part because, again, I was out traveling and my wife was at home working. And, even though I've got, 5 Rottweilers and a big believer in the Second Amendment, I don't want people to know that she's not, she's at home alone when I'm out traveling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I'm joking about the dogs.
Yeah. I was just sitting here picturing that, and I was thought, do I say anything about these 5 dogs, or do I just let that go?
No. The thing that I think is neat about what you created is, I mean, everybody that travels, whether you're a full-time RVer or not, even if you're just a passionate RVer or maybe even just a tent camper or, whatever, I mean, any type of outdoor camping enthusiast, they've got a smartphone in their hand. And I mean, everybody does now. And you are going out there to enjoy yourself and to create some type of memory, some type of experience that you want to, capture in some form or fashion. Maybe that capturing is just putting it in your mind and your mind's eye and just remembering it. But a lot of times what ends up happening, and I think everybody struggles with this, is you got a good quality smartphone in your hand and it's got 10,497 pictures and 1,055 videos and taken over the past 3 to 4 years, and it's just all in chronological order, and you don't know where anything is. And you would just have to do a doom scroll back as fast as you can to try to find where that picture is. You might remember where you were, but when was it, and what if you were there multiple times? And
that's what makes the app so easy to use.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So it's
because you can go find it immediately.
That's one of the neatest things that you created, I think, was the organization of being able to create a trip and put all of the memories and stuff that comes along with that trip in one place. And
can I tell you what my favorite is?
Sure.
Okay. So, Robert, that Chris and I are on the road constantly, and we may meet someone down the road, 3 or 4 months after a great trip, or even a couple years after a great trip we've been on. Let's just use out west, because one of my favorite places, and we keep talking about it, but is Jackson, Wyoming. So we've had people that we've met, and we can, they say, well, gosh, where did you stop? Where did you stay? Where did you go before? Where were you after? And they ask us all these questions. And what I like is from the app, we can share all of that straight with them there. We don't have to go and find it somewhere else, write it down or anything like that. We can just share it with them right from the app. And that to me was a time saver. And then whenever the next time we want to head back out that direction or whatever we want to do, it's something quick and easy. We can say, hey, where were we when we were there? Let's check that out again. And it's right there for us. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
The app is set up to manage your trips. And so, I mean, that's what we do when we go camp. We go on trips, and people ask, you know, well, what's a trip? I'm like, well, what do you want it to be? It's a title and a date range. You know, it
Yeah.
can be a one night stay, a weekend, or a month long journey. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's whatever you want it to be. And so when you set up your trip and you save your memories, if you're in that date range, it automatically goes in the right bucket. So it's like self organizing, and that's what I need. Some self organization. But yeah, that I think that's worked out pretty well because everything's contextual.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, and it's everybody has good intentions for, oh well, I'm gonna put all this stuff in folders, or I'm gonna title it all. I'm gonna do all this organizational type of capturing. Back when everybody was still printing pictures, and they're like, oh, I'm going to create a photo album just for my summer Grand Canyon trip, and it's going to be this amazing photo album, and I'm going to. Nobody ever does it.
They probably got all the supplies for it, but then never
Yeah.
took the time to put it together.
So
Right.
it's neat that you kind of had that forethought about how, all right, well, if I create this date range, this trip, whatever I put in, everything gets dumped into that during that period of time, and it's almost like you're creating that organization on the fly in real time as you're traveling, and the app's doing it for you.
Mm-hmm. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, which is really neat.
So, Robert, let's jump around just a little bit here because you've mentioned this before, but we really haven't talked about it in grave detail. But I know that your wife doesn't go with you a lot of the times, and whenever you get to a point, you call her or check in with her, and sometimes that hasn't been possible. But you've got a feature on the app where she can locate you. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. So one feature is that you can plan your waypoints. Um, and so these are destinations that you plan to stop at, or you may capture along the way. You can capture them ad hoc. Um, and your waypoints are, it might be a campground, it might be a national monument. Um, but it is a location that you're certain you're going to be at, again, on a certain date range. Sometimes you go to an RV park, be there for 3 or 4 days, so you put that date range in there. And when you get to the location, when you save the waypoint, it creates a field for check-in. Um, and when you get there, all you have to do is hit that link, that button on the app, and it captures your date timestamp of when you got there and your coordinates. Um, so and that's going to notify when I get there. I click on that, it notifies my wife that I'm there, and she can, if she's, if I get there late, I'm 3 hours in a different time zone. I may get there late. She's already in bed. I'll hit check in. She, when she wakes up in the morning, she looks at the app, and if I'm there, there's a indicator on the screen. So that's pretty helpful.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Um, and there's also the tracking aspect where on the map itself, I can broadcast my location. Um, and so if I'm traveling, I may turn on broadcast location because I want to see if there's anybody in the area. Or if I go on a hike, I'll turn on broadcast location if I have my phone with me. And, that way, if I do fall in the ditch, at least, she'll have a last known location.
See, I know where he is.
Rock climbing
Yeah.
with Crocs, falling in ditches.
I know.
Y'all, you
I'm
do
going to think I don't want to go camping with him.
Man, they are all over the place.
One thing Chris and I would like about the check-in like that is with our community, for instance, we had something similar to that before and on an app, but of course it went away. And we all miss that. Like, we like being able to check in and go, hey, this is where we are. If anybody's close by, let's go, grab a drink or have breakfast or whatever. And I like that, because if they're members of the app and we're friends, then we'll be able to see that. If they want you to see it, they can make it private, but we like being able to know where our friends are and vice versa.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's a one of those kind of technologies that is here to stay now, and it people may not realize how much it's already embedded into just real world practices. I mean, everything from getting an Uber to ordering delivery food, just the way that you interact with a lot of different businesses and different aspects of life now are based on geolocation of where you are, and that's kind of service related stuff. This is one of those kind of cool features that allows you to be social with your friends if you want to, but also make sure that your loved ones know where you are, especially when you're traveling away from home. So you embracing that technology, but still giving people full control over how they use it is something that is unique to Camping.Tools. And one thing that really caught our eye once we learned more about it and what you were bringing out to market was that you had that built in, because that was, like Gina said, a feature that we enjoyed with another site that ultimately floundered and went away, but
not because of that, because of other reasons.
No. I mean,
but that was a tool on there that we enjoyed.
Yeah,
and so
it was a neat feature.
Thank you for bringing a tool like that back to market for us, because we love it.
Yeah,
you did it specifically for the foxes, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yes.
I did.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
But I will say it's not just y'all that likes that feature. We've been traveling 2 years around the nation, and we've got, I bet, 35 different requests on modifications and expansions on just that broadcast feature. So it's pretty popular. But and to your point, Chris, it's like, our philosophy is that we don't want to be invasive. We don't want to be, snooping on you on your phone behind the scenes and all this kind of stuff. So with that in mind, that's, we want to be able to share our content. We want to be able to share our memories and our trips and our location, but only if you want to. By default, none of that is shared. It's completely private, completely locked down. And, you may go on a trip and record everything and not want to share any of it. And then, 6 months later, you're like, okay, I'll share that trip. Well, you can go back and then just turn it on and share it whoever you want to.
Which is that pretty much the exact opposite of other apps or social media type world where everything's turned on.
Yeah.
Well, not even that. And, Robert, you can talk about this if you'd like, but it's not that it's just turned on. It becomes a property of where you've posted it. Is that not right? So if you post something on Facebook, then it becomes Facebook. If you post something on Instagram, it becomes Instagram. And I don't necessarily want my photos and stuff up there and become the property of somebody else.
Oh, well, it is. Our picture's all over.
I know. You do that, not me.
Yeah, but
yeah. I mean, some things is one thing for some of the things that we post, but there's a lot of personal stuff out there. My granddaughter, for instance, I don't want her pictures everywhere. So, I like that what you offer is an enjoyment for the whole family, and it can be there, and they maintain their own ownership of the pictures and stuff. I really like that.
Yeah, they'll always own their content. They'll always own their pictures. And now, full transparency, if somebody creates a story, which is essentially a blog post,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to go out to the world. As soon as you hit publish, it's out there for Google to index it, and anybody can search on it. Or if you post inside of the website, there's an explore tab, and you can explore all, which is everything that's in the community that people have chosen to make public to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that might be, I just went and saw this really cool river, and I just wanted to tell everybody about it and share my experience. Um, and then you can choose the level of privacy that you want, down to the granularity that you want. But that story that's public and the memories that get posted to the all tab on the Explore feature, we may syndicate those to our user group, because we want to obviously tell other people about cool trips and cool things to do, and we're going to use our members' content, which is only the things that they've chosen to publish to the community anyway. So, full disclosure, you may see some of that stuff on an email or newsletter.
Right. Yeah, but that's special.
Yeah.
That makes people feel special too. That, hey, they're paying attention to me and they've liked my trip. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked a lot bit about the app here the last little bit, but I think you got some interesting stuff also to share about your partnership or relationship with some other organizations. Don't you have, with regard to Camping.Tools, app and website, but like, don't you have a endorsement from a couple other kind of unique organizations?
Ooh, do share.
Yeah. One's Boy Scouts. For obvious reasons, they're probably the biggest single cohort of campers in terms of the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is Care Camps Foundation. The Boy Scouts, both of my boys were in Boy Scouts, and they both achieved Eagle rank. So we did lots of camping. And we want to, give access to all of the Boy Scouts and let them, enjoy the app in their scout career, and hope they make use out of it. If you're not familiar with the scouting merit badges, there's anywhere from 7 to 20 different criteria that you have to meet if you're going to achieve one of these merit badges. And the merit badges that we can assist on are the journalism and the camping and the communications. So for each of those merit badges, one of the things that you have to do is post on a public, website or newspaper or magazine. And of course, the camping, you've got to plan meals and have a packing list and plan a route. So there's all these different things that you can do in the app that actually helps you achieve your merit badge. So that was kind of a cool thing to be able to do and interface with that group with. And then the other one, the Care Camps Foundation, it's just one of these, anytime you can do something to help an organization like this, just makes you feel good. So Care Camps, for in a nutshell, for kids with cancer, they'll send them to camp for a week and kind of get their mind off of all the troubles that they're going through and give them an outdoor experience. So yeah, it's really great to be able to work with these people. And for every the deal that we have with Care Camps is for every subscription that we sell, we'll give them a portion of the proceeds to fund the kids that go to camp.
That's
For those
awesome.
that can afford.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's super good.
I didn't know about the care camps. That's really wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But the Boy Scouts as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm ashamed to say that I did not make Eagle. What's
Chris,
the one?
I don't even think you got, and if there is such one, I don't think that you even got the fire starter badge.
No, I definitely did not get the fire starter badge. No. And we're not. I'm by no means am I picking on the Boy Scouts when I say this because I know
picking on you.
Yeah, but
Yes.
But what is the Robert? What is the level? The first like rank you get? What's that?
Tenderfoot.
Tenderfoot. Yeah,
That's just for showing up.
Is it?
I don't know.
Can you be a tenderfoot and get a merit badge, or once you get merit badges, you get above tenderfoot? I forget.
So yeah, merit badges and rank are a little bit different. However, you do have to get a certain number of merit badges to achieve certain ranks.
Okay. How many do you have to get tenderfoot? Do you remember?
Pretty much you just have to be able to say the oath.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, okay. All right, listener.
Do the scout handshake.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I got that.
No.
I did that.
So this goes out to our listener. So anytime you hear me say tenderfoot, now you will all know what I am talking about. I'm going to start calling you my tenderfoot.
I don't even know. I mean, I think possibly I became a tenderfoot, but I know I did.
Well, I mean, you had to at least do that. That's just basically showing up.
Okay, I got my knot tying badge and I got my swimming badge. I got those two.
Those are the only two?
Those are the only two I got in Boy Scouts. Yeah.
And you were in Boy Scouts for what, 12 years?
No, not 12 years. I mean, I know I went to 2 summer Boy Scout camps. And it was called Camp Bud Shield in I think it's somewhere in Western North Carolina. I think I'm not exactly sure, but
that may not be around anymore. You're too old now.
Well, I know, but it was.
Oh,
I
Robert,
tried the Boy.
Sorry about Chris.
I tried the Boy Scouts, and I know that had there been a cool smartphone mobile app out when I was in the Boy Scouts, it probably would have caused me to be in the Boy Scouts longer.
I'm beginning to wonder if you tried the Boy Scouts or if the Boy Scouts tried you.
No. It's,
I think it's the second. I think that's the latter. I think they tried you and they're like, yeah, there's no hope for tenderfoot here.
Yeah. Here's the other funny thing about the Boy Scouts is that during that time, my dad was a traveling regional sales rep in the sporting goods industry. So so I had the best sleeping bag and I had the best hiking shoes and like all of the gear was like top notch stuff. And I hated it. I take that back. Hate's not the right word, but I struggled. Let's just say
he had other interests.
Yes, he was a little high maintenance
so I'm
for
not
camping.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
I guess hence why he's in an Airstream now and not in a tent.
No tent.
Yes.
No sleeping on the ground anymore.
And he can't start a fire at all.
I can't start a fire.
Cannot. He just literally cannot. People have tried to teach him, and he cannot. So he would freeze to death if he didn't have the Airstream.
Yeah. Well, I'll admit, I'll own up to my tenderfootedness, I guess. But
yeah. Oh gosh.
The boy, I have great respect for anybody that went through the Boy Scouts and made it to Eagle for sure, because it is
both of his boys did. Now, are you also Eagle? Did you do that?
No, I didn't make it.
Yeah, they did. That's awesome.
But I really wished I did. It's a lot of it. I think a lot of the success in scouting depends on the group that you're with. You know, it's like I lived in a small rural town, and there were just not very many boys in our troop. And but there were other troops that on the other side of town that had 10 or 12, and they did awesome stuff. It's like the stuff you hear about, the stuff that you want to do. And So for me, it just didn't pan out. But for my boys, we had, man, in their Cub Scout pack, there were 85 Scouts. And then I think there were about 50 Boy Scouts in their Boy Scout troop. And then it grew up to 80, and then it shrank down to, 7. It's
Wow.
when COVID hit, it just decimated the Scouts.
Oh, I bet so. Well, we
Oh, I have an idea. I'm just sitting here listening to him talk. Can we do a men's scout? Like for the wannabe Boy Scouts that never made it, can we set up a men's scout club
It's
and let
called
them
the Marines.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any
Oh.
tenderfoot guys in the Marines.
No, and you're too old for the Marines now. But I was just thinking that
So you're saying
we'd
like
give all the men who wanted to be Eagle Scouts or who just didn't make it
mhm.
for one reason or the other. Doesn't matter what the reason is, but we could start that and let them all come in like a new little scout kind of club
Mhm.
and let them prove that they can do it and show their kids who have already done it, show them, hey, I can do this too.
So
Even though I'm
Yeah.
over the age of 50 or 40 or however old. Yeah.
And there's some great skills that you could pick up
Mm-hmm.
that are highly relevant, not only to camping, but surviving a hurricane, you know.
yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yes.
That's
Not
true.
that ever happens.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. I think that's a idea. We're going to talk about
I
that.
should have never asked Robert what the first rank was because now I'm never gonna lose the
Tenderfoot
tenderfoot.
is totally you.
Man.
Yes.
Well,
Thanks, Robert.
before we start wrapping up, Robert, tell us, give us a little recap of what you've done the past 12 to 18 months. I mean, I know you've been out on the road and really bringing the Camping Tools kind of brand and app to RV rallies and to different organizations and stuff like that. But give a little recap about what you've been doing to get Camping Tools out there to the marketplace.
Yeah, I've been traveling. Man, I've been traveling. And that's mission accomplished for me right there. Because the whole purpose of doing this is giving me a reason to get out on the road.
Yeah.
But this last year, I started in February, going to, or I guess I left in January. Went to Quartzsite again. Stopped in Tucson. There was a FCMA rally in Tucson, which Tucson was just phenomenal for me. The desert was in a super bloom. I know y'all seen that before,
Yes,
but
that's beautiful.
I'd never seen it. And I just, dispersed camping is me. I've just found a place to camp. And when I opened the door in the morning, there were all these sorrel cactuses and all the cacti were in bloom. There was the desert floor, the ground looked like the greens at Augusta National.
Wow.
I mean, it had that low, tight green grass, and it was just everywhere. And I was like, this looks surreal. I mean, because it's the desert, right?
Right. Yeah. You expect brown dirt and rocks.
Man, it
Mhm.
was
Beautiful.
just mind blowing. And I found a mountain to go sit up on top of, overlooking Tucson. And you're just sitting there. It's like the sunset every night was spectacular. You could see 100 miles in 3 different directions. And you're sitting there thinking, man, 100 years ago, wide earth was coming down this road.
Yeah.
Or 150 years ago. And it's just the stuff that you see and do and the people that you meet. For me, it's imperative to get out on the road and talk to people, because if the app's going to be relevant to them, you have to understand the world that they're living in.
Yes. So have you chosen to not do as many RV rallies. No, not rallies. What am I talking about?
Trade shows.
Trade shows, and do more rallies instead.
Yeah, I'm kind of sampling, if you want to call it that. So we did trade shows for a number of years, and they're great if you want to talk to a lot of people that are interested in RVs.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably better talking B2B, have B2B conversations at those rallies because all the vendors are at the same location. Um, this year I did primarily grand design rallies, um, which is a lot more fun, I think, because it's a multi-day camping event, really, rather than a trade show. And it's a smaller crowd. You get to have more intimate conversations with people, and there's all these potluck dinners and campfires and music, and it's just a big party in the desert. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but they happen not just in the desert. I was in Quartzsite, Arizona, Tucson, um, Tennessee, Florida, South Georgia, Michigan, Massachusetts, and well, y'all went to one in South Carolina too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's
but
what
it's
that's kind of why I was asking, because, and Gina kind of summed it up there too. And I'm glad you mentioned all those locations. Is, you're selling kind of a digital product. It's going to go down to their smartphone, and they don't necessarily have to buy a physical product from you or anything across the table. So, you could have just decided, well, I'm just going to blast out a tremendous amount of, digital ads on social media and marketing that way. But instead, I just thought it was really cool that you decided to get out there and travel, get on the road, camp, go to rallies, meet other RVers in their natural environment, so to speak. And
Yeah, he's getting up close and personal.
yeah, and just do the things that you want your subscribers to do, and use the app the same way they would. And I think that's really cool about how you've spent your past year or so promoting the app, because when we learned about it and started getting involved with helping you bring the app to market, and we hadn't talked about this yet, but we had a cross section of our Riveted Fox community members help with beta testing and stuff like that, and just diving into the features and learning how to use it. It caused us to realize that it's getting it out there for the average RVer to learn about and start implementing in their daily travels is the ultimate goal. And when they can meet you in person and have you share it with them, versus just a digital ad, it's a lot better experience.
Yeah. And going to these different groups, every group has its different culture. And it's not only culture between brands like Grand Design Airstream, but geographical locations. The Quartzsite crowd is very different than the Sarasota, Florida crowd.
Oh, that's true.
And they're all good. They're just a little different, and but ideally I think one day I'd love to see all of the different brands have their own groups on the platform, and then building their own community in there. I want this to be the umbrella, the go-to place if you're interested in the camping experience. And it doesn't matter, if you're a tent camper, a trail camper, or an RVer. You can create a group and invite your friends and have your own conversation in a place that's made for camping.
Yeah.
By people that do camping. I think it's a little bit different than your other social sites.
Well, there's a correlation to where you're talking about, every kind of brand have their own group or whatever. And what I thought about when you said that is, and this goes kind of deep on the Airstream side, is the big red numbers that Airstream has used for the international club and the caravans over the years, and just the rallies and everything. Those big red numbers you see on the Airstream, there's many reasons why they implemented those. They obviously, put them on so that the caravan leaders knew who was in a particular trailer. They're on there so that if you're out at a big rally and, all the Airstreams look similar and you want to know who was where that you met, you share your big red number, all that kind of stuff. But so driving down the road, you see another Airstreamer and you say, oh, there's an Airstream with a big red number on it. If you're a member of the club, active member of the club, you can, look in the directory of club members and search by a big red number, and you can find out who those folks are. And with, your app and the technology that's designed into it, that same experience can happen, and you can take it a step further and be able to see where your friends are geographically. You can share trips with each other. You can do a lot more intimate, I guess, or detailed sharing or relationship building if you're a member of a club or a community or something like that, by all of that living inside of your app, which is, I think, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
well, that's not really where I thought you were going with that. I actually thought you were going to go dive even deeper into the not just the international club, but then the local clubs to the communities, and a great way for them to stay up with each other, in contact, and make their plans and their routes and stuff that they do together. That's where I thought you were headed.
Well, all of those features are there.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's all how you decide to utilize the tools that are inside the app. But just the fact that, you've got the location-based features combined with the grouping of a brand or a particular, interest or whatever, and then you capturing your specific memories and experiences and trips and stuff. It's all living inside of one app, and then you decide how you want to utilize it. So it's really, really neat. I know that was one of the biggest. Well, all of it was what caught our eye, but the location sharing based on the social side of having a group or a community of friends that you travel with, or you try your best to visit with and see when you're out on the road. Having all of that in one mobile app was really, really neat. We've been talking for an hour. We need to start wrapping up. We thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and we we'll talk about it briefly real quick for while everybody's listening. But we sincerely thank you for your support and help in trying to have us get our Riveted Rendezvous 2024 this year, but it just unfortunately got canceled because of the hurricane. And the past couple episodes of our podcast, we've kind of devoted some time talking about that terrible hurricane. And
we were hoping to have this actually have this podcast while we were there.
Our plan was to record live with you during the camp out, and that just wasn't meant to be. But we were happy that you and proud to know that you were going to provide some sponsorship to the event, and we sure hope we can do it again real soon. So thank you for that.
Yes,
and
thank you very much, Robert.
Yeah, we've enjoyed the partnership and the friendship here the past couple of years.
I'm looking forward to seeing y'all out on the road again.
Yes.
Yep, for sure. Give everybody that's listening, and we got tons of people listening, Robert.
Yes, we do.
I mean, tons and tons of listeners.
At least 1 million or
I don't
million
know.
and a half, something like that.
Something. But go ahead and kind of hit the credentials or give everybody the specifics about where to find you, the website, the mobile app, all that kind of stuff. Give them all that detail.
Sure. Super simple. The website URL is just camping.tools. There's no .com, just camping.tools. And if you want to find us in either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, just do a search on Camping Tools Online Journal or Camping.Tools Online Journal. They should bring you right to the page.
Cool.
I have to tell you that Robert has the most amazing logo with the camp. Well, it has a campfire, Chris. just so you know.
I know.
Robert, can you tell everybody how you came up with that logo?
Yeah, I can't believe we actually got it trademarked, but that story I was telling you in the beginning when I was at the first campsite of that trip to Glacier National Park, I had my coffee pot sitting on my stove, and you're just watching the coffee boil and the steam come off of it, and I'm like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So that was my inspiration for the logo.
That's fabulous.
We've commented numerous times about how your graphics, your branding, your colors, it's
top notch.
That whole side of your product is amazing. And yeah, you're right. It's amazing that particular image has not been used or trademarked somewhere else. So that's awesome.
Well, it has now, and it's easy to find whenever you go to search for the app.
Yeah, we wish you the very, very best, and absolutely can't wait to see you down the road, out on the road again.
Thanks for taking the time with us today, Robert.
Yep, and
you bet. And I have stickers now, so I'll send you a box of stickers.
Cool.
Yes,
that's good. We love stickers.
We love stickers. Thanks again, Robert. We appreciate you coming on.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Gina, you can pick them.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. All right. Well, we're going to leave you, everybody, after this wrap up with a quick little official Camping Tools commercial. I hate to use the word commercial because this thing sounds so good.
It's everything that he has done with the work of his logo, I don't know if introduction maybe. His introduction of Camping Tools has been just top notch.
This commercial, when you listen to it, it's going to put you in the woods. It's going to put you beside a campfire. It
takes you right there.
It takes you right there. So listen to this commercial after we wrap up, and then go find his app and download it and enjoy it.
And then come say hey to us on the Riveted Fox community.
All right, everybody. We will see you on the next episode, okay? Take care.
Take care. See you down the road.
The open road, the smell of the trees and fire outside, mountain peaks and rivers, and not being in a hurry to get anywhere. Every camping trip is a treasure trove of memories. But where do we seamlessly weave them together without the clutter of multiple tools and the drama of today's social platforms? Enter Camping.Tools, the ultimate travel journal that empowers you to plan, capture, and share together. Plan. It organizes every detail, from itineraries to packing lists, and even sorts memories chronologically on a dynamic timeline. Waypoints guide your adventure and trace the steps that made it great. Capture. From the hushed whispers of dawn to the roaring campfire tales, Camping.Tools keeps every memory alive. Document your journey through photos and reflective journal entries. Share. To share your adventures with your friends and family, Camping.Tools allows you to create a private camping network, letting you share memories securely, form groups, collaborate on itineraries, and check in at destinations, all while knowing your shared moments are treasured safely. From the first plan to the last shared memory, Camping.Tools is there, saving every adventure to be relived time and again. Camping.Tools. Available for download at the Apple and Google Play stores.